Alright guys, so we're back on another Adams Motorsport video. Second time I've been out, actually third time I've been out, but second time I've done a video on it. And wanted to talk you guys through the track before we kind of dive into things. But before we get into that, I really just want to say, if you haven't watched the video on the 1,000 subscriber challenge, if you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to and watch that video to know why. Obviously there's other reasons, but I'm just gonna spill the beans. I really nonetheless, as I said, I've been to Adams Motorsport before, but the last time I went, I didn't really talk folks through the track. And people that haven't been out, I feel like it's a really cool step between going from an autocross to an actual track situation. So I thought I'd just talk you through the layout of the track so you get an idea of what it's like. Later on, but you're coming down the straight, you're on this pit lane here, you're getting a good amount of speed, but you really want to make sure you get your good braking in so that you can make that roundabout corner to the back straight here. This isn't the longest straight on the track, but it definitely gets you a good amount of speed before you get into this kind of S-curve section. And obviously you want to try to cut as much as you can. You don't want to go too crazy on the chicanes, especially when it's wet. But you're making your way now around to the big long straight, the longest straight of the track. You get a decent amount of speed. I'm usually second, third gear here, and you run into this slalom, which I think is really there just to make sure people adhere to the braking zone. But then you have a bit of a carousel with a bit of elevation change as well, which is pretty cool. And then you make your way around. Really, you got a couple of kind of S-curves here. You can kind of overdo it a little bit if you come into too heavy there, so you try to make sure you don't do that. And then this is the slowest corner of the track, and in the wet, you really got to make sure that you don't understeer going to this corner. But that's really the track. It's a cool layout, and again, it's not a full-on track situation. You're not topping out at like anywhere 90, 100 miles an hour, but you're still getting a good amount of speed, and it's got some technicality to it where you do feel like you're really doing something. But nonetheless, let's just get into talking about this time out, because it was a really great time out, and the car posted some really great times even in the conditions. Clouds kind of started rolling in right before I got there, literally right when we were about to go on our parade lap, the rain started. And so, we had to adapt. We were all kind of looking around to see if they were going to cancel it. But it was rain or shine, which was great. There were a couple of Mustangs out there. I will say one guy, he spun out on the parade lap as well as on his lap as well. But there were some runoffs, so there wasn't any issues there. There was an RX-8 that came out that that actually kind of took advantage of the scenario, and he just drifted the whole course. They don't really allow that, and so they told him on his second run that he couldn't really do that anymore, but it was definitely entertaining for us just sitting out there chilling and watching. But nonetheless, it was just a cool event, and the Elantra ended really great. I was really the second fastest time out there behind one of the red Mustangs. Obviously I know times will be better when I'm out there in the dry. But I post the time here, but it was just really cool to just kind of still get that feel for the car, and even in the midst of the wet conditions, kind of figure out where the limits were. I had to drop the car down to, I think, map 0. I don't even think I was boosting anything over stock, because any situation of getting on the throttle kind of got you wheel spin. And so obviously you want to dial that in as much as possible. The brakes did great. I didn't really have any lockup situations, so the ABS worked really well. Not too much understeer as well. There were a few scenarios where I maybe came in a little too heavy, felt a little bit of the slide, the transfer, and kind of let the car ease its way into it before you kind of get on the power. But again, the LSD gets you out of corners so well, even in the wet. that I was just super, super impressed by the car. And so I'm obviously hunting to get back out there again now with the tune, you know, in a dry scenario, with the tires warmed up, because I really think I can get some great times out there. I'm not really sure the lap record. I'll probably look that up and kind of see if we want to hunt towards that. But nonetheless, I mean, just for a car that's not overly modified, yes, it's modified, more power, not much in the way of no suspension, obviously stock tires, lighter wheels by, you know, maybe a couple of pounds, you know, just a little bit of power upgrade. It's just impressive what this car does and the times it puts down on, you know, different, you know, track scenarios. So nonetheless, leave some comments if you guys have been out here, because you guys got to hear this M3. Fighting that torque steer. It's a go-kart track at the end of the day, but it does have the space to do these runs and these time attack nights, which they do, I think, at the end of each month for the most part. There are a few gaps here throughout the year, but check them out. Adams Motorsport out in Riverside, California. Big shout out to them, and we're just excited to get the Elantra in back out there to see what we can do with times when we're out in the dry. So nonetheless, like I said, please be sure to subscribe. We're pushing through. We're moving forward. Excited for all of the content coming up, and we will for sure catch you on the next one.